Why do you think that happened?
Because we don't like each other.
Right. Okay.
Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James have been going back and forth for weeks, but now things have escalated in a major way after a video reportedly leaked by Smith that some fans believe could be career-ending for LeBron. What started as a media feud has become deeply personal, and the basketball world is paying close attention. So what exactly did Stephen A. reveal, and why is it creating such a buzz? The tension first gained attention earlier this year when Stephen A. Smith, one of sports media's biggest names, found himself in an unexpected standoff with one of the game's greatest players. What began as routine commentary quickly turned into a heated clash that captured headlines for months. At the heart of this disagreement lies something very personal: a father's instinct to protect his son. Bronny James is not just another rookie trying to find his way in the NBA. He is the son of LeBron James, widely regarded as one of the best to ever play the game, and that connection brings a level of attention that few young athletes ever face. When Stephen A. Smith offered his opinion on whether Bronny was truly ready for the league, he likely had no idea it would spark one of the most talked about confrontations in recent sports media history. Going back to where it all started early in 2025, Stephen A. Smith made some direct remarks about Bronny James during an episode of First Take. After a game in which Bronny played 15 minutes and failed to score against the Philadelphia 76ers, Smith did not hold back in his assessment.
Now let's go to Philadelphia, where Bronny James last night played his most minutes by far in an NBA.
His comments set the tone for what would become an even harsher critique when Stephen A. went on to make a statement many found controversial about why Bronny was in the league at all, saying he was pleading with LeBron as a father to stop this because everyone knows Bronny James is only in the NBA due to his dad. But Smith did not stop there, as he continued to build on his point, suggesting that LeBron was not only hurting his own son, but also doing a disservice to other young players working to earn a spot in the league.
Go into the G League and average 20, 25, and stay there until he's ready. Because he's LeBron's son, you know how they're going to judge him. And before anybody wants to jump on me, remember...
Smith continued by making comparisons that many people felt were unfair, especially considering the serious health issues Bronny had faced after suffering a cardiac arrest in July 2023 while playing at USC, which had a major impact on his college career. Despite this, Stephen A. drew parallels to other situations and even brought up a boxing reference about Marvis Frazier being knocked out by Larry Holmes, suggesting that LeBron was not protecting his son by pushing him into the NBA before he was truly ready.
The boxing analogy on First Take earlier today. And I used Marvis Frazier, the son of Joe Frazier. Go back and look at the highlights. He went into the ring against heavyweight champion Larry Holmes, who had one of the best jabs and one of the best right hands in boxing history.
To really grasp why these comments hit so hard, it helps to look at the actual numbers Stephen A. kept bringing up as he repeatedly pointed to Bronny's early NBA stats, which on paper certainly did not look impressive at all.
Bron James' mystique hovering over him. 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, 0.4 rebounds. 1 for 16 shooting overall, 0 for 7 from three-point range, 13 games. There are millions of kids out there starving to play in an NBA game that are more qualified than his stats.
Those remarks hit a nerve not only with fans, but as it soon became clear with LeBron James himself, and to truly understand why they were so sharp you have to look at the deep connection LeBron shares with his son and the very public goal he had always talked about of playing alongside Bronny in the NBA. 4 years LeBron made no secret of how much he wanted to share the court with his son, and in a 2022 interview he laid it out plainly, saying his last season would be played wherever Bronny was and that he would do whatever it took to make that happen for 1 year. That was not just something said in passing, as it was a dream he brought up again and again, and when it finally came true in 2024 after the Lakers drafted Bronny, LeBron called it the greatest accomplishment of his basketball career.
When it comes to basketball, it's the greatest accomplishment that I've ever had. Done it all as an individual, but there's no greater accomplishment that would be able to overtake me being on the same floor as my son.
This was about much more than just basketball, as it was deeply personal for LeBron, who has always been passionate about his children's growth and has stayed actively involved in Bronny's journey, from coaching him in youth leagues to being a constant presence along the way. When Bronny suffered that cardiac arrest in 2023, LeBron and his family were right there, offering steady support, sharing updates, and making sure he got the care he needed, which really shows how close they are as a family. That bond was on full display during LeBron's acceptance speech at the 2023 ESPY Awards, where he opened up about what his kids mean to him.
So I want to thank my beautiful 3 kids, Bronny, Bryce, and Zuri. It means so much to me to have you guys here up on stage. I've been here over my 20 years on this stage a few times, but this one is really damn special. All I can say is just thank you guys for being amazing kids, all 3 of you. The greatest blessing in my life. To my mother, who's not here, Gloria, That's my goal.
With that in mind, it becomes much easier to see why Stephen A. Smith's comments hit such a sensitive spot, because while he was questioning LeBron's choices as a father, he was also directly challenging something LeBron himself had called his proudest achievement. But the story has another layer that makes it even more complicated, as Stephen A. and LeBron already had a history that was not always friendly, with Smith often offering tough opinions on LeBron's career moves and how he played on the court. That existing tension meant any remarks about Bronny would naturally be seen through the filter of their past exchanges, and even as Stephen A. criticized how LeBron was handling things, he tried to soften his words by pointing out that LeBron is a good father overall.
Father, great husband, great philanthropist, great businessman, great actor, great producer, great director, great. How many times have I said that?
But those softer words were not enough to stop what came next, as the tension that had been building finally exploded into a public face-off that neither man likely expected to make national headlines. The moment happened on March 6, 2025, during a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks, when something took place courtside that shifted the whole story from sports commentary to front-page news. A viral video showed LeBron walking up to Stephen A. Smith, who was sitting near the court with clear anger on his face, and according to reports, LeBron told him directly to stop talking about his son and repeated that it was his son he was referring to. The exchange happened in front of other famous faces and was seen by many people in the arena, and the very next day Stephen A. addressed it all on First Take, admitting that LeBron had approached him but carefully explaining how he understood what had happened.
Basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son.
Smith went on to say that he believed LeBron had completely misunderstood the point he was trying to make with his comments all along.
I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star.
But was this really just a simple misunderstanding, or was there something deeper at play involving the mix of sports media, family loyalty, and the limits of public criticism? As the story continued to unfold, fans and fellow athletes started picking sides, while media voices shared their own takes, and what had started as talk about a young player's readiness for the NBA turned into a much bigger discussion about the responsibilities of the press, the depth of a parent's love, and the sometimes unclear line between honest opinion and personal insult. The stage was now set for a conflict that would keep growing, with both men using their powerful voices to stand their ground, and as we will see in the next part, this was only the beginning of a public war of words that would reveal a lot about both figures and the world they operate in. Their feud only got more intense after the confrontation between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith at the Knicks-Lakers game might have stayed a brief moment of heat if both sides had chosen to handle things quietly after the fact, but instead what followed was a series of increasingly sharp public exchanges that turned a simple disagreement into one of the most talked about conflicts in recent sports media memory. After that first courtside moment, both men used their own channels to explain what happened, and while Stephen A. Smith's early comments on First Take seemed careful, his tone grew sharper in later appearances, as on his YouTube show he called LeBron's actions weak and made it clear he saw it as a parent confronting him, not a player. But Smith did not stop there, as he went on to make things worse by saying he would have swung immediately if LeBron had touched him during their exchange, and even though he admitted he would probably lose that fight, he held firm on his stance. This shift pushed the conversation from a professional disagreement into talk of physical conflict.
I basically told him we can throw down right now in front of everyone. Let's have at it. Me and you, one-on-one in the middle of the court. And of course, that uncle refused. He don't have that.
That clip, which seemed to feature LeBron, was actually a satirical piece made to make fun of the whole situation, and it showed just how much the feud had turned into material for online jokes and social media humor, while the real-life back and forth kept heating up across different platforms. LeBron, who does not usually jump into long media wars, finally spoke up about what happened during an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, where he called out Smith for making things personal instead of sticking to basketball, and made it clear that when someone crosses that line, it becomes his job to protect his home and his players. During that same interview, LeBron compared the non-stop media appearances Smith was making to a Taylor Swift concert tour, which was a clear dig at what he saw as Smith's hunger for the spotlight. The back and forth only got worse when Stephen A. Smith responded on his own show by calling LeBron full of it and accusing him of lying, and with each exchange becoming more personal, it was obvious that what started as talk about Bronny's readiness for the league had turned into something much deeper between the two men. As their public remarks grew sharper, the basketball world began picking sides, and Charles Barkley, who is no stranger to speaking his mind, shared his thoughts on the whole thing, pointing out just how personal the fight had become. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver was even asked about the feud because it had become such a major topic in basketball circles, but perhaps the most damaging moment came when Smith made a claim about LeBron that had nothing to do with the game itself. During a heated exchange in late March 2025, Smith said that LeBron had not attended Kobe Bryant's memorial service in 2020, and this statement made in the heat of the moment would come back to cause serious trouble. After facing major criticism, Smith was forced to take back what he said and apologize on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, admitting that he had misspoken and clarifying that LeBron was in fact at the memorial but had asked to stay off camera. This correction showed just how far the feud had gone, with facts getting lost in the emotional back and forth, and the whole issue around Kobe Bryant's memorial was especially sensitive because of the deep feelings tied to it. Research suggests that LeBron's attendance at the service was never publicly confirmed, and some reports indicated he may have chosen to grieve away from the cameras, so Smith's false claim and his later apology added yet another layer to an already messy fight, with many people seeing it as a low blow that went too far. As all of this played out in public, NBA fans had no problem voicing their opinions, and on social media platform X they shared strong views about the feud, often backing LeBron and calling out Stephen A. Smith for how he handled things. One fan pointed out that it was crazy to talk negatively for 20 years and then act like the victim, while another highlighted what they saw as a double standard by noting that people had been criticizing LeBron for over 2 decades, but the moment he finally spoke up, he was suddenly accused of being emotional and petty. On Reddit, the support for LeBron was even stronger, with comments calling Stephen A. clown and a fraud, and praising LeBron for calling him out, while another fan wished more players would push back against the nonsense that gets said, which pointed to a larger frustration with how sports media operates. What made this feud really stand out was how it exposed the often rocky relationship between athletes and the media figures who talk about them, as one popular comment claimed that players have never liked Stephen A. and that he has never been someone they actually open up to or appear with on shows with another person, adding that Kevin Durant has even said before that Smith lies about players giving him information and that nobody in the league really FW him. This suggested that the clash between LeBron and Stephen A. was not just a one-time thing but part of a larger pattern of tension between Smith and NBA players. The whole situation also brought attention to the tricky nature of talking about an athlete's family, as comments like "keep my son out of this" and "keep my son's name out of your mouth" racked up thousands of upvotes, showing that many fans completely understood and supported LeBron's protective instincts as a father. As the public back and forth dragged on, neither man seemed willing to step back, and LeBron even used social media to poke fun at Stephen A. by posting a video of him boxing and adding a mocking sound effect right after scoring a big basket against the Indiana Pacers, which showed that even while playing at a high level, the fight was still very much on his mind. The heat of their conflict raised bigger questions about where sports media is headed today and whether commentary has become too personal, with many wondering if there is still a clear line between judging a player's game and criticizing their life choices, and when exactly does talking about someone's family go too far. Some people watching the drama unfold thought it was ultimately bad for the NBA, and an article from Yard Barker even called the clash bad for business, pointing out how ESPN plays a role in keeping these fights alive, while others just saw it as pure entertainment, with fans calling it a comedy show and enjoying every bit of the drama. By late April 2025, there were hints that things might be calming down, as recent posts from both Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James made no mention of each other, with Smith talking mostly about the NBA playoffs and other topics, and LeBron sharing updates about his injury and the Met Gala, which suggested the feud might have stopped heating up even though nothing had been formally resolved between the two. What makes this whole situation so fascinating is how it shines a light on the tricky relationship between athletes, the media, and the way the public sees them both, as Stephen A. Smith has spent his whole career building a name on bold takes that often walk the line between real insight and stirring things up, and for years that style has kept him right at the top of sports media, while LeBron James, on the other hand, has spent more than 20 years in the spotlight, carefully shaping his image as both a legendary player and a devoted family man. So when these two powerful figures clashed over something as close to the heart as a father's bond with his son, the explosion that followed probably should not have come as a surprise. But there is another side to this story that deserves a closer look, and that is how the actual facts about Bronny James and his readiness for the NBA stack up against the talk that started all of this in the first place. Because was Stephen A. Smith really wrong in what he said, or did LeBron have every right to push back and defend his son's place in the league? To really get to the bottom of that, you have to move past all the shouting and take a real look at how Bronny has actually played, how he has grown as a player, and the unusual situation he walked into, not just as a rookie but as the son of someone many call the greatest to ever touch a basketball. Thanks for sticking with us, and if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and click on one of the suggested videos on your screen right now to keep the journey going with more great content.